So, circumstances are such that I am being given the opportunity to reflect upon my long-term presence here on YouTube. Um, I guess I started posting videos back in 2006, and I didn't really ramp up my production until 2007, mostly as a result of my college roommate moving out the last few months of my senior year. And he and I had had discussions, endless discussions into the night, about philosophy and science and cognitive science and complexity theory and the significance of psychedelic experience for our understanding of the universe and so on. We had great conversations, and when he moved out, I needed I had all this intellectual pressure that was building up that I needed to offload somewhere, I suppose. So I discovered YouTube, and saw that there was a community of people posting videos within which they reflect upon their own ideas or the ideas of various philosophers and scientists. So I threw some of my own thoughts out there into this virtual world that we've been creating with each other. And I've been doing that pretty regularly for the last 6 years. A lot has changed in my personal life. I now live in California. I've been in graduate school for several years, pursuing a PhD in philosophy and religion. And I take more walks now when I make videos because really they provide me with an escape from what my everyday life has become. Whereas I think when I started, they played a much larger part in my everyday life and my own intellectual development. In college, my true spiritual, philosophical growth was happening when I would read books at home after class. It wasn't happening in my community of learning at the University of Central Florida. I had to do it in private because the things that were lighting me up, Carl Jung's archetypal psychology, or Alan Watts' Americanized Buddhism, or Buddhist mysticism, or Ken Wilber's integral theory of cosmic evolution. I was reading these thinkers in my own time. It wasn't until I moved to California that I could study really the spiritual roots of philosophy in a community, at a school, at an institute of professors and peers who are also striving to understand the deeper nature of things. Now, the reason that I'm reflecting on all of this now is because the old mystic Nick has posted a pretty inflammatory video directed at me. And Nick and I have been exchanging videos for many years, or at least we haven't for many years, but we did when I was first getting into this business. And Nick is not very happy with me. And at first I was kind of shocked, and I'll admit what he had to say kind of hit me, and I was like, wow, maybe, it made me realize that I shouldn't be complacent about my trajectory in life, even though, I feel like I have made the right decisions this last 5 or 6 years. I shouldn't become complacent, and I thank Nick for, making me more aware of the decisions that I'm making and that I have made, and so on. But after my initial shock at watching his video, I started thinking more about it and about the medium through which I've come to know Nick, and Nick has come to know me. And I realized that, he's watching little video box of my face projected on his computer screen, in his office, in his cottage in the countryside of France somewhere. And he's totally controlling his experience of me. I'm more like his entertainment. He can start and stop, or fast forward, or rewind my face whenever he wants. It's not like we're actually having a conversation, or that he and I have ever spent FaceTime together as souls. We've never breathed the same air together. Our experience of one another is completely mediated and virtual. So, when I started thinking about what emotions Nick might be experiencing as he was laying into me, I realized that his understanding of me could only be a projected understanding. In other words, my face here on the screen provides his imagination with a sort of canvas upon which to paint whatever sort of persona he needs to be in conversation with, for his own psychological reasons. Now, I can't help but have the same sort of an image of Nick, right? I don't actually know Nick, and so as I reflected more on my initial shock in response to his video, I started to see that we're wrapped up in a hall of mirrors here, and I think, as was made clear by several other videos by Professor Anton and Conference Report, whatever Nick was saying has more to do with his own situation in life, just as what I may say about him has more to do with my own situation in life. So YouTube is a kind of it's a pond. It's the still surface of the water that Narcissus gazed into and lost himself in. We're trying to reflect one another, right? We're trying to see one another, but mostly we're projecting. We YouTube personalities, we're still trying to meet one another in this plane, and sometimes we succeed, other times we move in completely opposite directions. It seems we miss one another, but I still feel like we need to keep doing it. This is a medium which has been, for better or worse, sutured to the human organism, and for better or worse, YouTube is now a permanent part of the way human beings record their own history, and the way this story is told, the story of the human. So we can't give up. We have to soldier on. But, one day at a time, I guess. As always, thanks for listening.